Okay. Hi, Sadanand. Thanks for taking time and being with us today.
Thank you, Mukesh. Good morning to you and Aditesh.
Yeah, thank
Thanks
you.
also for the time and opportunity. I'm
So,
excited to talk now.
yeah, so as we start with all the other conversation, tell us something about you yourself and the person behind the role.
Sure. Sadanand Puspane, my name. I am working in SQS as a global practice head for ERP, mainly which is SAP. Um, I've been working in the industry for about 22 years now, um, and in the SAP field for about 18 years. So I've been fortunate to be working in this consulting, SAP consulting and SAP um, network or ecosystem for so long, being managing about 60 plus programs, different all types of SAP programs, like coming from implementations, rollouts, upgrades, migrations, testing, etc. I work for a company now. This is SQS, Software Quality Systems Group. It's the world's leading software quality vendor. We are into professional services. It's a German organization, but we have a very large base in Pune, Chennai, and Mumbai. So India also becomes a very big base for this organization. India is the largest second setup for us as a group.
Super. So, you said you are the practice head. So, how do you define your role as a practice head? So, what all does it encompass?
So as normal, I mean, we have a team of consultants, mainly SAP consultants, about 70 of them. So I have to worry about or work on their career skills, upgradations, practice all other matters like asset building. Apart from all the program streams, implementation program streams that we have, we worry about our developing our own team for implementations and rollouts and upgrades as well of our SAP system. And so upskilling, recruitment, resourcing, knowledge asset management, and managing the stakeholders' perception and their expectations in this organization also is one of my KPIs as a practice head.
Super. So we have all this talk about the entire business environment changing, the way you engage with your customers changing, the way you engage with your employees changing with the millennials coming in. So what do you think are the biggest changes that you have seen in your role, probably in the past 2, 3 years?
Um, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go
It
on.
sort of has frozen the window.
No, no, please go on. We can hear you.
Yeah. So okay. Um, there is a change. Obviously, we have been seeing a lot of change from the expectations perspective. Our own customers as well as our other internal customers, which are main stakeholders of this organization. The way we have been working with our customers, the delivery and our business model also has been changing now. For example, we have been in the professional services industry. As IT services, we are the number one in what we are doing. For example, we do. We have started this business 30 plus years ago, and we have the largest revenue size of what we do in the world. We are number one in what we do. Now, that itself is a expectations from our customer to be the leaders. We need to be adaptive and agile into differentiation and innovation. So they will expect us to be, more than what we have been doing. For example, is which is the top of top priority for us is how we can use SAP as a system of differentiation, not just system of data, system of records. How we can do that is the expectation from our customers. Example, um, they are expecting us to have innovative invoicing models apart from time and material and fixed price invoicing or milestone basis. They expect us to, give us output based delivery where we take the complete ownership of the successful delivery, and then based on only the successful delivery, we will invoice the customers these services, and also in lot more innovative models, not just time and material or fixed price. So this is one of the biggest challenge that is happening to our business as leaders of what we do, and to our from our customers also.
Interesting. So, given that this is the situation, what are some of the things at the top of your mind? Maybe you can list down maybe one, two, or three things which are top of your mind right now.
Sure. So innovation is the number one in my mind. Okay, we need to be extremely innovative, creative in how we can meet these expectations. I think the agility also, agility to change ourselves and be ready for these expectations is something that is in my mind as well. And then this transformation journey. Okay, we are in a journey. At the moment, we are also consolidating all our footprint, SAP footprint, and non-SAP, converting non-SAP into SAP as well. So we have 27 market units worldwide. All of these market units will start using SAP. It's a transformation journey for us. But then the delivery consulting happens through Pune, our team in Pune or in India. So we need to be, of course, be ready for this kind of transformation journey. So innovation, agility, and transformation. These are the three things that are in top of my mind at the moment.
Yeah, so that's probably the same for a lot of organizations as well. So if you can just elaborate a little bit more in terms of what are you doing in terms of either one of them. So maybe innovation, maybe agility, maybe transformation. A little more deeper in terms of what you do
Yes.
in order to go on that journey.
So first thing was obviously to increase the skills and the capabilities of our team to look for not just traditional ERP SAP solution, but look beyond and what is SAP themselves are looking forward. So, for example, we are moving lot more SAP solutions into cloud, and also examples are like S4 HANA. So this is something that our team also internally need to really be aware of, learn, as well as start getting ready for. So that's the skills and the upgradation part for the team internally. From from the modeling, the expectation from customers, like system of differentiation. So as I explained, the invoicing of output based. In fact, we want to be ahead in such a way that we want to also look at outcome based invoicing as well. Not just that I have delivered something successfully, so I'm billing based on output, but I also want to be ready from not only from our business perspective, but also from the system perspective on the outcome, assured outcome. So this is something that we are challenging internally, how we can use SAP for this kind of innovative, different way of using SAP.
Interesting. So you said that you are going on this transformation journey as well, right?
Yes, yes.
So as an organization which uses SAP for its backend or its for its operations, so how do you see your organization leveraging IT and some of the SAP technologies that we bring in to increase the effectiveness of your business? So, is there any concrete example? Is there any example of a project or of an initiative that you could share with us, which is more internal focus in order to support your business?
So we now have a design in place for something called as ERP 2.0. It's our own internal program. Initially, we used to be traditional users of SAP. So backbone SAP, backbone, all our operations are basically handled by SAP. Now, ERP 2.0 is a program which actually expects us to look at all the market units and their total IT backbone applications, convert them into SAP. So that's something that is one big program that we have started designing. It's almost completion in the design phase. Now, obviously, what that means is also all the market units that are not traditional SAP users, including two centers in Pune, in India, Mumbai and Chennai, for example, the change management come in picture from the end user perspective. And this is something that also is part of our ERP 2.0 in a much bigger way. That's where the transformation journey comes in picture. We need to convince that there is power, a lot more power and authority to use SAP to those market unit stakeholders which are not using SAP. Convincing also requires a lot more handholding for all these stakeholders. So we need to be absolutely comforting to them that not only it is powerful, but it's also easy to use. So we are going to use innovation in that ease of use. So user experience is something which really one of the biggest trends in 2016 that I have seen. Also, Gartner says a lot about user experiences, and I think that's something that we want to also focus on for 2016. If we can make a very good user experience for these non-SAP traditional stakeholders of SKS Group, I think the transformation journey will really be, slightly easier, I would say. Of course, it's never going to be that easy, but these are the tools and techniques. I mean, why this has become a very big trend anyway for 2016. I think there is a lot more that SAP is offering. For example, use of query apps. I mean, that has changed the dynamics of even traditional users. I can have a lot of power in my hands now, which again comes to device mesh. That is another trend that we want to also use. Okay, so approvals, workflows, can they not be just by click of a button on my mobile, just like how I do shopping these days? So this device mesh is something that also we want to look at. It's a journey. So I must say that yes, there will be stages, and yes, we want to have this journey as clear as possible. Having been using SAP traditional ERP for 15 plus years, we should be able to have a good clarity or plan at least for this journey.
Super. So I think you mentioned a little while back the fact that organizations are looking to change the way that they buy or pay for software and software implementation. So do you see this change becoming more and more pervasive around you, or is it more that you are wanting or willing to get prepare for that journey, expecting it to happen? So the question primarily is, has the way people buy ERP software or enterprise software changed, and if so, how?
It has changed. In my opinion, I totally agree also because I also have customer facing roles. Uh, it helps me, to also understand from my customers' perspective as well as their expectations. So they have changed, their expectations have changed. So how we are going to use SAP is also going to change. And if we can, you know, uh, be ready for their expectations, I think they will be expecting things that. In order for us to, there is a pyramid model system of record, system of differentiation, innovation. At the moment, the innovation and differentiation layers are actually joining. Okay, the innovation is the really the main component at the moment to make that differentiation layer more prominent. The customers are doing that. Our customers are doing that in their own SAPs. They are having advanced agility into their models. For example, they are going on a much bigger cloud uh, way than I have seen ever before. So customers are expecting us to be more agile as well. If our business is to support their ERP systems the way they are using, they expect us to also have our backbones the similar way. as well. So there is a both ways. There is expectations from customers, and those expectations make us change in our own systems as well. So cloud, I think it is the wave that I'm seeing more and more prevalent, more and more from all over the world. In fact, we have 27 countries operations, 30 now. So, and they are spread in worldwide. So many, okay, we have seen the trends, for example, South Africa or Australia region are much more adaptable to success factors, for example. But now we have a few customers in Puerto Rico or US who are also asking for this kind of success factors implementation. It is changing in Europe as well. I think more and more, wherever the economies are facing a little bit of challenge, as we know in Europe, they will probably also go and think of, this kind of innovative pay-per-use SaaS or cloud models, and then we need to be adaptive to those as well.
Interesting. So you've also touched upon the fact that some of the trends that we are seeing worldwide, just more and more adoption towards cloud solutions. Are there any other trends that you see that are playing out in the world of technology today, apart from the cloud adoption, for sure?
Yes. Uh, I think machine to machine is something that we are seeing. I am personally seeing machine to machine communication, machine to machine learning is a trend which is increasing in the manufacturing domain. They want adaptive and proactive preventive maintenance being, as proactive as if my machine down the line is failing somewhere, the production line here should also know that there is something that is going to happen. So don't increase the production for these many days. This has to happen automatically. This is the biggest trend in manufacturing at the moment that we are seeing. I am personally seeing. I think 3D printing, as we all know, could be another trend, but it is fancy. But now it is touching industries like pharmaceuticals, life sciences, even electronic sector. So these are the three or four industries where 3D printing has started really uh, gaining as competitive advantage as well. Of course, there are some other trends, but I think, as I mentioned a little earlier, device mesh is really picking up very, very fast. User experience has always been the hot topic for most of SAP users. Machine to machine was one, as I mentioned, and 3D printing probably is another.
Super. So, since we are doing this interview for Indus, right? So, how do you
Yes.
see Indus being part of your daily business affairs for collaboration, networking, learning about new technologies, and what is it that you expect from Indus as a user group as well?
Sure. How long we have this interview? I, okay. Just jokes apart. I mean, we can have a lot more on the plate, but maybe a few suggestions, maybe from my perspective, few cents worth suggestions. Okay. One is, can we not have our own collaborative portal for all the Indus customers to start openly sharing the solutions part. I mean, obviously, solutions means there was a problem and we have a solution. And of course, customers may not want to reveal the competitive advantage solutions, but obviously the trends may be, we can at least know that, okay, we have another customer or another, industry player who has done something about it, or there is a way, or there is that kind of collaboration. Maybe a collaboration will help in many other ways, but that's something that maybe a better close collaboration could be something that to start with. I think more and more meetings. Yes, you do have a lot of meetings as well, but it might even help for tier two, tier three cities, small groups. Yes, we have innovation groups, but
Uh, We
basic
lo-
idea from my perspective.
So if you could just repeat the last half a minute that you said, because I think we lost your voice for half a minute.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can. We can hear you now.
So I was saying that maybe the we do have innovation groups probably, and user groups or specific topics, interest groups. But I think if we also can have tier two city based groups who can also meet, uh, you know maybe more smaller groups but more focused ones, face to face, not just e-meetings. That would be probably one such idea. Uh, yes, there are a lot more. There is interaction now that is gaining a lot between SAP and its customers. It should only continue, of course, or grow. But I think the two main uh, stakeholders, the customers to customer interaction and customer to SAP interaction, if there is a far better collaborative platform, then that would be ideal.
Super. So, by the way, we are working on creating a new version of the Indus website, which will have all the features, functionalities that will enable the entire interaction possible. So, a very, how do I put it, a rudimentary question, but a very important one for Indus, which is, would you recommend Indus membership to your peers? And if yes, how would you recommend them join?
Internally or
Both,
even.
both internally in your organization and in your peers. For example, people whom you know from other organizations at a level similar to yours.
Yes, obviously I will be very much keen to do that. In fact, we have already added a few more members from our own organization as active members. Um, yes, that is obviously that has already started, and we will grow the membership from our own company as well. But there is so much of network. SAP is a close, still a very tight, closely knit network. And why not? I mean, Indus has given that platform, and why I don't see at all any reasons why my peers from other organizations should not join. So definitely, I will definitely propose them, ask them, force them at times to join Indus group because I just see a lot of value and benefits having part of Indus.
Super. So now we've spoken so far about what has been happening in the past. What do you see? Now I want you to little bit explain as to how in the future, maybe in the short term future to mid to long term future, how do you see your role as practice head evolving?
Um, I think we need to now really look at more than upskilling and other practice setup KPIs. Those will be always there, of course. Revenue generation KPIs will also be there, obviously. Your customer satisfaction KPIs will still be very relevant. Um, what is happening is business is becoming a little bit complicated. The model of doing business is becoming complicated. There is a pressure from IT arena using of different models or like SaaS or cloud apart from on-premise. On-premise has been used for 30 plus years. Now this particular trend is changing the life cycle of you know moving from on-premise to other platforms. The life cycle is reduced to now 4 to 5 years. So 25, 30 years on-premise, and now we are looking at cloud-based platforms in just 5 years. In 5 years, things are going to change even further. There will be innovative model, even solutions like hybrid. Okay. Yes, we do talk about private cloud and public cloud. Both are important. Both will be there. Both will remain. But I personally see that the large customers, large enterprises, who will not be able to move everything to private cloud, there will be hybrid models. So we need to be really prepared for future. There will be cloud, private cloud, there will be even some public cloud-based solution, there will be on-premise, and there will be some in the hybrid space as well. So this is something that I think I as a practice head will have to look for in
Interesting.
future,
Interesting.
future 5 years or mid to long term.
So this is very interesting. So before we kind of conclude, if I may ask two questions, basically, in fact three. So one is, have there been any aha or wow moment as a practice head for you, which made your day? If you could just explain that a little bit more. Second is, what is your leadership mantra? Because obviously, being a practice, it means that you are a leader, and you need to lead the entire ERP practice, people around it. So, what is your leadership secret? And third, last but not the least important thing is something which you do in order for you personally to stay up to date and relevant. So, what is it that you do for yourself to stay up to date and relevant? So, three
Okay.
questions.
Yes. I think my wow factor obviously was to uh, think of something innovative, which I will not be able to reveal, but innovative invoicing model to make that differentiation of our uniqueness in our own business, convert that into system or solution. Okay. So we are working on it. Obviously, we have to still implement that. But the very fact that this is still possible using our own SAP, meaning our SAP solution, was something that is that can be considered as a wow factor for me,
Super.
considering this particular business. Um, the other wow factor was within a fraction of or matter of 2 months, we made 22 team members SAP certified in one go. I mean, they were just appearing the exam and they just cleared. So that was another big wow factor, which makes us more than 75% of our team is certified, SAP certified.
Mm.
So that also can be as a boasting or pride moment for us. Leadership mantra. That's a very big question, very good question. But I think if I just see my career of 18 to 19 years in SAP itself or 20 plus years in ERP, I always felt that if you are very close to customers, if you empathize with your end customers, um, you will understand what you need much better. So be very close to your main customers or stakeholders who are really for whom you really are doing what you are doing. And if you can understand them, empathize with them, don't sympathize, but at least empathize with them, I think that will change your mindset of whatever complicated problems that you need to solve for them. So I always tell this to our team that they are very, happy to understand this perspective. Um, what I do personally, um, well, it may not be a very routine answer. Okay, so I actually spend a lot of time sweating in the morning. I like to play game. I play tennis in the
Okay.
morning. I make sure that I sweat so much that I refresh myself uh, so that I can be ready and fresh to read a lot of new technological advances that are happening in the world. So that clarity and emptiness of mind is what I try to gain in doing this kind of something exercise. And I do farming as well on every weekend. So it's a totally different answer, I must say, but that has worked for me. I must give that answer. The honest answer.
Yes. So thanks a lot for taking time and talking to us today. I'm sure that there are nuggets of information, nuggets of insights in this conversation that Indus members can actually benefit from. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.